Hi, I'm John Timmerman, and my TikTok username is I licked it, so it's mine.
I'm Rob Schauger, and I always prefer my puns to be intended.
And I'm Al Kutri, and I have a really... I'm Al Kutri, and I have a really weird crush on Dolly Parton.
And we are the founders of the NoBull company.
Hello! Today's episode is brought to you by your mama's coconut pie. Built in 1941, considered the best coconut pie in all of upstate New York. I cannot wait to try your mama's coconut pie.
What's up, Buzz Nation? Welcome to I'm a Little Buzz, the show where we bring a ridiculous amount of life to business, all while sharing a glass of whatever makes us happy and talking about whatever gets us buzzed. Yes. Fellas, what's getting you buzzed this fine afternoon?
Well, boys, I'm glad you asked. So I decided during a show that we call I'm a Little Buzz to start a little program called 75 Hard.
Oh, I saw that on your post. I saw that.
So
you dipped your toe. Well, no, you dove in. You can't.
I dove in a day early.
When I saw that, I was like, "This dude's out of his ever-loving mind."
I was going to start it today, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be an overachiever. So I started yesterday.
Wow.
So what that means is none of this.
Oh no!
For 75 days.
Getting buzzed off water.
If you go off the rails,
start over.
You got to start all the way over again. Like,
oh my god!
It could be one chocolate chip.
That's
literally
why it's hard.
Chocolate chip.
And guess what Michelle made yesterday?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Is she just testing you?
No, it was her uncle's birthday. It was good. So, but
you're like, I'm out. I'm leaving the house.
Yeah.
We
divorced.
Yeah. And so I started Saturday with the water
splitting up for
part.
one day until these chocolate chip cookies are out of the house.
I'm like, dude, I need to test.
You're an
bladder.
animal. You're an animal.
So
I can't believe
yesterday was day one.
If anybody can do it, you can.
Yeah.
Got it done. Today, day two.
This is exciting. Well, for our viewers, it's going to be great to watch the transformation.
You made just to move this over here.
Yeah.
So I've got all of these functions that I had planned that revolve around booze. I mean, you know.
Now you got a good story, though.
It's like once a week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No.
God.
But it's all right. I already feel 2 days in.
So 75 hard?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, man. You want to do it?
No. I'm going 75 soft. I'm going the exact opposite direction.
75 fluffy.
75, yeah.
If you want to know what's getting Al buzzed?
Yeah, I'm going to be
just gave you a little sneak preview.
75 chocolate chip cookies a day.
Soft and fluffy. How about you, John?
I'm pretty jacked up about this event we have going on, the NoBull Digital Workshop. Audience will learn more about this, in the coming weeks. But it's our pivot, as you guys know, to COVID, and got some good traction. Nothing we can really talk about yet, except for the date, September 17th.
Top secret.
Yeah. So tactical practical.
Tactical practical, baby.
As Al calls it, the tactical practical event. But it's like takeaway stuff that business owners and entrepreneurs, can watch this webinar, take actual tactical practical things, apply them to their own life and business. And fingers crossed, we're negotiating with some really great presenters and speakers. But that's what I was working on today. That's what I'll be working on tomorrow. Super buzzed. How about you? Yeah, new gear.
About some new gear gizmos. Wireless microphones. Rode. Thanks, Rode. Appreciate the sponsorship. Just kidding.
Maybe not.
Gonna will it into existence.
I'm going to. I've been listening to The Secret too a lot, so this is gonna happen. Our sponsor, Rode microphone, put it out to the universe. We got the Rode Master here. So I'm pumped about the Geek Squad situation.
So the audio quality of this podcast
should go up exponentially if I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Al, is that the Rodecaster Pro?
It is the Rodecaster Pro.
Nice.
Oh, man. What's up, Buzz Nation? Are you a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk? How about AJ Vaynerchuk? How about David Meltzer? Well, you can see them all for free. April 8th, 2021 at our NoBull 2020 conference, NoBull 2020 2.0 that is. That's a free $250 ticket. All you have to do is head to empathywines.com, buy any 12 bottles of delicious Empathy wine, use the code NoBull2020 at checkout, and you will get a free $250 front section seat. That's right, just head to NoBull2020.com for more details. Today's show, we've got the buzzworthy, amazing human beings, Heber and Marston Sawyers, aka the Buttery Bros. So who are the Buttery Bros? Just head over to their YouTube where you can see their ridiculously creative and personality-packed videos covering fitness, the sport of CrossFit, and to the tune of 9.3 million views to date. Wow, that's a shitload of views. Individually, they have also produced not one, not two, yes, 3 top 100 most downloaded documentaries all time on iTunes. All 3 which I have seen, so amazing stuff. These fellows are creative, they're funny, they're great storytellers, and they are certainly building a rocket ship media company if we've ever seen one. Buzz Nation, please welcome Heber and Marston Sawyers, aka the Buttery Bros. What's up?
Yo. What's up there? Good to see you.
Super happy to have you guys. Thank you for taking the time. Before we get into the main piece of the show, where we talk about business and life, we have a nice little segment that we call the pregame. Al, tell us about the pregame.
Pregame's super simple. It's free association. First thing that comes to your mind, I'm going to ask you some ridiculous questions. Well, some are not so ridiculous, but boom, no thinking, and let's fire it up. Ready?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Skateboard or hoverboards?
Hoverboard.
Skateboard.
Jean shorts or cargo shorts?
Jean shorts.
Right answer.
Totally the right answer. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Waffle.
Jay-Z or Kanye, hashtag our new president?
Hashtag new president Kanye West. Let's go, Yeezy.
Oh, man. Jay-Z.
Okay. Except Kanye's going to be the new president, so you might want to switch.
New president. You got to get on board.
Yeah.
Dude, join.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good prerequisites. You know, I think he's going to do a really good job.
Join the movement. Yes. Okay. Sweet pickles or dill pickles?
Dill.
No. Can that be an answer?
No, ever pickle.
No damn pickles.
Fill in the blank. 2020 is
Awesome.
I was going to say shit show, but
shit factory.
It's an awesome shit
It actually
show.
oscillates.
Yeah. Sandwich cut down the middle or diagonal?
diagonal.
Smart. Favorite car?
Ooh, the butter truck.
Yeah, I'll say butter truck.
Butter truck?
Yeah.
I dig it.
Currently our favorite.
Might be
Yeah.
my new favorite too. Gonna have to ask a question about that.
Greatest advice you've ever received?
Ooh, I don't know. Like you need like a nugget of wisdom right now, huh? I would say probably. I would say carpe diem.
Carpe diem. Seize the day.
Seize the day.
I would say like not sweating the small stuff, you know, like not letting the things that you can't control affect your day. That's really hard for me to practice, but it's good advice.
Salad.
Dig it. Worst advice you've ever received?
Go to college. Go to college.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah, I'll second that with ease.
Okay, worst advice, go to college. True or false? You are a sociopath if you sleep with your socks on.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Feel trapped in there.
Couldn't agree more. That's it.
Also, isn't it like your feet like make your entire body like either cool or
it's the
hot?
temperature
Doesn't it?
control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freedom.
Yeah.
The thermostat
Like-
of the body. Yeah.
Sociopath.
But yeah, sociopath. So good
Definitely.
thing we're all on the same page.
Yeah. 100%.
All right. Well, wealth of knowledge just happened right there. Knowledge bombs. Holy shit.
Told you.
But now is
two.
the time when we cheers to our guest. Something ridiculous. So cheers to you, Buttery Bros. To life, love, lots of laughter, and turning down the car radio so that you can see better.
There you go.
It's true. It's the truth.
You do it. You turn it down so you can see the,
Yeah,
see the
right.
sign better.
Isn't that funny? You're
that's-
blaring
yeah.
music. All of a sudden, you're like, wait. What
a
does that
second.
say? What is it?
Okay,
Oh,
where
okay,
am I?
okay.
Everybody does it.
Did you say the same is true with the masks?
People do it with the mask too. They pull down their mask and then they do this to hear you. I don't understand.
We have trouble differentiating
Yeah, we're all
between the
screwed up.
senses.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's wild. Okay, we have tons of questions for you guys. I personally have been a fan of your work, and then once I got to know you guys, you know, through social and whatnot in your videos, been a big fan of yours for a while. But I did not do justice what you guys have built. So take 2 minutes, either one of you, both of you, just tell the community, tell Buzz Nation, what is the Buttery Bros?
Go ahead, Hebes.
We are just two dudes that have started a YouTube channel. We set out, so we worked for CrossFit headquarters, producing content and media for them for almost a decade. And as you mentioned earlier, we produced 5 documentaries with them. I think 3, if not 4, or maybe all 5 are on the best-selling documentary list all time on iTunes,
nice.
Top 100. And after 2018, CrossFit made a huge shift in their company direction, and they got rid of their entire media team. We took that and leveraged it to say, hey, we want to continue creating really fun content, because even if we weren't getting paid to work out, we would still work out and we'd still be fans of the sport. And so let's just go follow up and see what these guys are still doing, even though CrossFit's not fronting the bill. And how do we make that happen? Because production can be really costly, especially when you're traveling internationally. Our first gig was in Dubai. It was Dubai, followed by Miami and Miami, London, all over the place in 2019. And so we wanted to make a new documentary about CrossFit Games and how the sport was evolving with a bunch of changes that CrossFit headquarters have been making. And we wanted to figure out how we could fund it. So we talked to a bunch of different investors and production companies and distribution companies to figure out what the best avenue was. And everyone was extremely hesitant because of the dramatic changes that CrossFit had made. So we couldn't get like a solid commitment from anybody. And I knew how successful the movies would be if we just like, all right, let's put our heads down and we'll make something work. And so we figured, like, let's talk to as many brands as we possibly can. We can go and shoot commercial content for them or shoot highlight videos of their athletes at events. We'll make it work. The very first thing we did was we went to Dubai and we filmed the Dubai CrossFit Championships there. Came back, and then as we were filming that, I was like, this is really fun. I want to document the behind the scenes that we're doing, because this is just like in Dubai. We got there, we didn't have enough beds, so we put the beds together, and Marston, myself, and a guy named Tommy Marquez were sleeping all cuddled up next to each other. And I was like, this is just
mega bed.
Yeah, mega bed. And these were just funny anecdotes. And I was like, I'm going to start documenting this. And then on the next trip, we went and we got a commercial gig for a CBD oil company to shoot with Matt Fraser. So that got us to be with Matt Fraser. And after we finished our commercial shoot, we then that night were like, hey, let's do one of those workouts you did in Dubai a couple of weeks ago, Marston versus me, and we'll do it in your garage. And Sammy, his fiance, picked up the camera. She filmed the whole thing, and we documented kind of our travel there. And that was our first episode of our show. And then from the immediate success from that, we were like, hey, we should continue doing this. And so from January, that was released in January, literally shot on January 1st of 2019. Through about March, through the end of February, we would shoot these vlogs, but also our main focus was, as a company, we want to go out and recruit. We want to shoot commercials for brands. And so we did the CBD oil thing. We worked with that same company at Wadapalooza. And we worked for Wadapalooza. And then we had other things scheduled where we were like, we're going to go to this location, shoot for this brand, and also shoot for this athlete. And while we were there, we'd shoot for our vlog. So we're doing like 3 or 4 things on every trip. It was taking on a lot.
Was that intentional, or did it?
Yes, it
just happened.
So because we needed content for our documentary, we loved making our show, and we needed money. So this was the way that we thought we were going to make the money. After we went to London and we produced an episode about the CrossFit Games Open. We put that up there on the and within 12 hours, we had brands contacting us saying, "Hey, we love your show. We want to be a part of it. How can we be on board for the next one?" And so from week 2 of the Open in 2019 till today, almost every episode has had a brand sponsorship somewhat involved within the episode. There might be 1 or 2 that haven't. And by June of 2019, we no longer could do contract work for other people. We were too busy doing Buttery Bros stuff and our documentary. And that's like what we wanted to be doing. It's way more fun doing what we're doing versus like going out and shooting a high budget commercial for a brand. And they get a ton of exposure through our channel. So it works. It's a win-win for everybody.
Let's dive into that real quick, because that is something that every entrepreneur has to struggle with, is like, when do I quit my full-time job? When can I stop taking on side clients? Like, I went through it in my marketing business. What did that decision look like for you guys? Was it literally like, we're having too much fun doing this work, so it as long as we can pay our bills, like it's okay? Or was it like, holy shit, we're making so much money. We need to like, this is worth it. Like, let's make the jump. Like, was it a struggle basically?
I mean, like at first we were just kind of like forced out of the nest because CrossFit got rid of their media teams. So that was like the first step. And like, I wanted to do my own, like start my own company and work for myself. This was just like the thing that kind of like pushed me to do that. Mm-hmm. And then once we started creating weekly shows, it was almost just like, how do we just survive for a while? And it was like trying to figure out ways to, apply to brands that was attractive and offering them, ads in our show and different ways to market towards our audience and doing it in our own authentic way. And I think that that really stuck with our people because we have a wide variety of different, demographic, mostly, I would say heavily more on the men's side, but we have created a good relationship with all the brands that we work with, and they're all really stoked with the content we put out. And I think over time it just kind of like evolved, and we kind of found ways to perfect what we did, and it got us in location with athletes that we wanted to be with. And it kind of helps with cross promotion and stuff like that. So it was a crawl before a run, I would say, but we're up and running now, and we're like really happy to do what we're doing.
You guys actually have a really unique way of presenting the brands too. I mean, so my background is in digital marketing. You know, I see a lot of content producers and influencers and brands and the whole relationship between, and I can say you guys you can tell you're talented, you know, you're super creative with the way you present the brands. And it seems very natural, right? That's one of the harder things to make happen. I mean, you listen to like the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's very direct. He's reading a script from the brand. And then you listen to some other podcasts where they'll do the read, but then it's so bad sometimes as they're reading it, they're like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. Like, but they're like so popular that it doesn't matter. Yeah. But you guys,
have you ever listened to the Bill Burr ads? Have you ever listened to him do that?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking of, actually.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Somebody said that about you today, by the way.
Yeah.
What did they say?
They said John is doesn't really give a shit what he says, but he's not disrespectful.
It just comes out.
It just comes out, and they're like, yeah. I mean, that's true.
He never says the name of our brand correctly, but that's okay.
We just love him. But yeah, the Bill Burr podcast, that is what I was thinking of. He just mangles it, but it almost doesn't
matter.
Yeah, for him it doesn't matter. But anyways, you guys do it.
Sherry's Berries.
Sherry's Berries. You guys do a fantastic job at weaving it into your videos in a way that's very comfortable and very smooth.
Hey, before we get too far down the line, I just want to know, who was the winner of the acid bath?
Marston. Preston.
I was, yeah. I'll take that. I'll take and run with it. Still holding it, waiting for that rematch, Heber.
Let's go.
Give us some context. What's the acid bath?
That was show number one.
That was show number one. The workout is 500 meter on a ski erg, 500 meter on a rower, and then 1,000 meter on a bike erg. So each implement takes about exactly the same as the other. So they're all like right around 1 minute 45 seconds. If you're really fast. Yeah. If you're me, it was about 1 minute 55, and then you're just hanging on. After just like, it's like a full sprint for a mile. So right around like 5.5 minutes, your legs are just completely blown up.
Lactic acid. Right. I got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Who dies first?
Yeah.
Which is
who dies first?
Exactly. And it's the winner.
Actual question. So you guys have a ton of personality on your videos. You guys are really like in your face, happy, fun. And obviously that's a big part of your brand. Buttery Bros is your title. Like, it's very fun. How do you balance having that personality, maintaining that energy, and then also the business side, like answering emails to be on this podcast, like talking to a sponsor, talking to an athlete, scheduling, like how do you balance it? Do you have a system, or do you just shoot from the hip?
I would say that we learned as we went. We also had Matt O'Keefe, Chief Keefe, kind of give us a business 101 like crash course like semester within a few nights after we got let go from CrossFit. So we kind of consulted with him, but we also just kind of delegated it between ourselves, and we've since hired other editors to help us with our episodes. We have a manager now that helps us with setting up like meetings like this and logistics and stuff like that. So it's evolved a lot, but like I went from being just like a creative person to like then having to like learn how to do business, which wasn't something that I did. So I was forced into it, and I'm glad I was, because I'd much rather be doing this than working for the man.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. Does any of it come not even come natural, but like now that you're in it, for either of you, do you like aspects of the business, or are you still very much creative and those are your lanes?
I think we're both pretty opinionated and want to be involved in whatever it is that we're doing, especially because it's literally like our faces are the brand. And so it's hard for us to let go of some of the things that we're trying to do. But for me personally, like just being on site, creating content with people is by far and away the most fun part of the process. Has COVID fucked that up for you guys at all? Or are you pretty, I mean, you're around a bunch of fit, healthy people anyways, you know?
Yeah, I think we've, made the best with what we could, when life gives you lemons, you say, fuck the lemons and bail. No, I'm just kidding. But we were able to like still create content out of our garage, and then we were able to go on a 2-week road trip where we went to like all the way across to like Louisville, met with Chandler Smith and Matt Fraser and Brooke Wells, and so we're still creating the content that we want to create. We're just doing it under restrictions of COVID now. So we just got back from Idaho where we were with Brooks Like. That'll be our next episode, and so we're still getting with like really cool people. We just put on, I've been calling them butt pants, but they're the Gymshark like ladies butt forming pants.
Oh, nice. Do they work?
Me and Heber just
they work.
Yeah. They accentuate the booty. Yeah,
in such a way.
We just did a workout with Whitney Simmons, so it's like she's local, and we can obviously take advantage of that, but still trying to like look outside of just the CrossFit realm to be able to like collaborate with people that have something different to offer than just fitness.
Yeah.
So.
If you, for the next industry that you really want to deep dive into, is there a particular industry that you're super hungry for?
I would say tourism, just travel. It's a bad time for it, but I think that's, especially if you'd asked me like 5 months ago, that would be one that I would really like to break into for what we're doing, just because it's some of our favorite episodes have been like going to Australia to compete at tribal class, Aruba, and Hawaii, like just going to these really cool exotic locations and participating in really fun and cool events. And that to me is like, that's what I want to do more of.
Yeah. As you guys have built this brand up from day one, really, like you said, not knowing a ton about business or the creative type, what's been sort of one of the biggest challenges that really kind of, you sat back together and like, holy shit, this one's a doozy. What's like the biggest challenge you faced thus far?
I would say completing our documentary, The Fittest. So that just came out during COVID. But prior to that, we were working for a company that fronted all the bills. And, we got to do a lot and we had a lot of freedom there. But we almost had to like learn it in our own way over again of how to like, market, produce, shoot, hire a team, edit, store all the footage, and then have like a good marketing plan to help promote the movie and stuff like that. So that was the biggest challenge as far as like big projects that we've been working on, and like we're working on more going forward. But now it's like I guess our biggest challenge day to day is just coming up with new content and trying to figure out what the next episode is right now.
So while you guys are mixing what you really want to do, what is it that you're doing that you don't want to do because you got to pay the bills?
Probably just answering emails and going over contracts.
Ugh.
Like there's just a lot of paperwork that goes through responding to people and setting up stuff, and some brands can be super easy to work with, and you want to have a repeat relationship with them, and then there's others that are a little bit more difficult that take a little bit more babying.
Yeah, I guess I would say like part of the reason I think that like our cross promotion and our ads and stuff have been good is because we make it our own thing, and we put like our Buttery Bros flair to it, I guess. And so when a brand comes to us and they're like, we have very specific guidelines that we want you to follow, and you're like confined to this box when it's like, we're creatives and like, just let us run with it and see, you'll probably be happy with it. And so that's a little bit frustrating, not frustrating, but just it's hard to follow someone else's creative direction when you're the creator.
Right.
Have you turned people away because of that, to say like, I don't think this is going to be a good fit?
Yeah, we've turned people away that aren't a good fit for like our brand, with products that we don't really agree on. And then obviously, like, we have a barrier of like, we think we're worth this much, and if a brand's not willing to pay that, like, okay, sorry, like, either you have to bring more value to us in other ways other than outside of a dollar value, or this isn't going to be a good relationship. Mm-hmm. And so we work with brands, specifically brands that we feel have a really good relationship with us and fit really well and bring value to what we're doing, and things that we really would be wearing even if we weren't being paid, or use if we weren't being paid for them. Like, we try to be as authentic as possible. And that's why I think some of our marketing works so well, is because, like, for us, it's stuff we enjoy, and we live in kind of a consumer society that wants to know what's happening, what's going on screen, and why.
Yeah.
Are you guys still reaching out to brands, or is it pretty organic now? I mean, you have a brand. I mean, you over the past couple of years, you've built a really great brand in the fitness and CrossFit space. And so everyone, or a lot of people, are aware of you, or definitely aware of the athletes that you're training with. And are you still kind of climbing the hill from a sponsorship standpoint, or has it become much easier?
It's definitely easier, but we reach out to brands that we find and we like. So if like we come across something and we're like, oh, I really like the feel of this, or I like the taste of this, like, we should be including something like this into our show, we'll reach out to the brand. But it's about probably 70% of the time now they're reaching out to us. And then there's just kind of ways to tease them to come contact you through social media and stuff. If you show some sort of interest, a lot of times the brand will reach back out to you and say, hey, let's figure out a way to work together.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the most part, I think like we have regular recurring sponsors that we've had for the past 6 to 9 months. So for the most part, we're like pretty comfortable in just taking care of those main brands. But, there's obviously, other new things that come along that we that spark our interest, that we're willing to work out some sort of agreement with.
I got a question for you. So you guys, you're fantastic creators, like, you're skilled with cameras and editing and the actual, production side of it. But you also have great personalities, and you bring a great personality to the show. Very unlikely to find both of those things, as I'm sure you guys know in the video production space. Somebody starting out, let's say they're creating content, right? That's the name of the game in today's world as an entrepreneur, whether you're a brand or your personality. Do you have a feeling of which one gets you guys further? Is it why is the Buttery Bros more popular? Is it because of the editing and the dynamics and that, or is it your personality, or is it even keel?
Go ahead, Marston.
I mean, I'd say it's a combination of all those things. Like, I don't know. I grew up making videos of other people, and I grew up just learning how to, produce and edit and everything like that. But it was always somebody else. But yeah, I felt like if I turned the camera on myself, I was almost like a little like, why am I on camera, and stuff like that. So I think that being comfortable being on camera was something that was challenging for me at first, but I don't know. I goof off a lot, and I've got a lot of weird quirks about myself, but
and people probably love it too, right? You probably get social media, you probably get tweets and comments all the time of like just the weird shit that you do that people respond to. I say a lot of weird shit, and then people will they'll pick up on that stuff, and I'll be like, wow, I don't even remember saying that, but I guess it's on record. But I think that me and Heber have very similar styles when it comes to storytelling and editing and stuff like that. So we complement each other really well. Like, usually I'll take the first half of an episode and he'll take the back half, and then we can just find a place and we can marry them together, and it makes a nice package deal. So
I'm sure it's pretty rare that you have people that are creatives that can shoot, produce, edit, and then be on camera talent too. So, I think it's a combination of all those things of why it's worked for us and probably wouldn't work for the next person, you know?
How did you guys meet way back in the beginning?
I was shooting an event for CrossFit back when I don't know if you guys follow the sport, but the sport has evolved a lot. So they had what was called sectionals, which were a qualifying round to get to the CrossFit Games, essentially. And I was shooting that for CrossFit as a contractor here in Utah, actually. And Marston's girlfriend at the time was competing, and he came out and asked if he could shoot it, if he could get floor access. And somehow I was like the guy that could grant that. Even though this is like my second gig for CrossFit. And so I was like, sure, as long as I can have access to your footage, I'm happy to have you come out and film. And so he came out and filmed, and then the next day he showed up at my house with a hard drive that was extremely organized and well labeled so that I could find footage really easily. And we got along while I was there talking and while filming the event. And so I introduced him to CrossFit's head of media, Tony Budding, and he started doing contract work with them that year. And about a year later, when I moved to CrossFit headquarters in Santa Cruz, I would fly Marston down to help me produce certain shows. And then once we landed, he helped me produce a pilot for ESPN for CrossFit, so that they were now going to be on live television on the internet and eventually on to actual TV. And when we were producing, we were asked to produce like 16 post-produced shows about the CrossFit Games in 2011. I was like, Marston, I need you to come down and move to Santa Cruz with me so that we can produce these shows. So he packed up everything and moved him and his girlfriend out to Santa Cruz. And we basically locked ourselves in the office for 2 months to finish production on those shows. And since then became really good friends.
Awesome.
There it is.
Yeah. Heber committed to Santa Cruz before me. And he was there like a year before me, and they're all getting phone calls like, "Are you going to move to Santa Cruz? Are you going to move to Santa Cruz?" And I was like, "I haven't even been to Santa Cruz. I'm going to let Heber be the guinea pig on that." And so he went down there and was part of like the first like 2 or 3 people to be in the media team, and then eventually got to the point where it was like, okay, I guess this ESPN thing, and I'll come move out there. So
nice. The rest is history.
And then the name, the Buttery Bros?
Buttery is just a term that we would say when we'd hit like a nice composed shot that we were stoked on. Be like, dude, you gotta say the shot. It's really buttery. You know, so that was like what we would say, like it's smooth, it looks good, and then like we'd always say buttery. And around the time we were making our first YouTube channel, we're like, we're gonna call buttery something, buttery guys, buttery dudes, buttery bros. Yeah, I like buttery bros. Let's just do that. And then the next day we're walking around Wadapalooza and people are like, "Are you guys the Buttery Bros?" We're like,
yes, we are.
All right.
That's exactly who we are.
Yeah.
Brings me back to my snowboarding days. But they'd be like, "Oh, that trick was so buttery, man."
Yeah. I love shit like that.
buttery.
As a musician, we say tasty a lot, like, and we give like the filthy, ugly face, like, oh, when somebody does something, you know, you get it, like, oh,
I got you.
filthy.
Oh, so dirty.
God. Oh, filthy bros isn't going to fly for.
Yeah.
Bros.
Good job on
If I
the
take
buttery.
off, yeah, nice job on the buttery, but my filthy term isn't going anywhere.
So you get a lot of the younger generation that wants to create content. They grew up in social media. TikTok is blowing up right now and has blown up. And you know, YouTube, I want to be a YouTuber. In fact, a good friend of mine contacted me the other day because I'm in marketing, and they're just like, "Hey, where does my son start?" Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm not an influencer or a personal brand, so I gave him some tips of people to follow. Would you what 1 or 2 tips would you gentlemen give to somebody who's young, who, let's say they do have a talent or a skill, right? They do have something that they can create content around. What's the best way to start to make that a real thing that could be a full-time gig eventually? You know, because that's what they want. They want to build a brand. They want to do this for a living because it's fun. What are some tips that you'd give them to be a brand, a personal brand?
I would say that every camera is a tool, and every time you can get behind the camera or in front of the camera, just start creating content. If you want to be creating content, it's just reps. It's time under tension. It's It's spending time figuring out how a story works. And if you're always trying to be just in front of the camera, you're not going to learn the backside of it, which is, as the world becomes a lot more independent, like Marston and I are able to film and we don't need anybody to be there with us. It's always helpful if there is, but if I'm by myself, I can film, edit, color correct, mix the sound, and upload it to the internet without the help of anybody else. So it's not like you need a team of people to do this. It's just figuring out time and time again what is the best angle to find this story, what is the best timing with music, and really that's just experience. And Marston and I both started this at a really young age. I was literally 5 when I had my first experience in front of the camera and fell in love with the filmmaking process. Marston has been editing videos like this since high school. He's basically doing the same thing he did in high school. Now he's a grown ass man, like it's
grown ass man.
Yeah. It's just time under tension and learning.
Yeah. And then what's crazy is just since like I got out of college is how much the technology is really blown up. Like if I was doing this 20 or 30 years ago, I don't think I'd be doing this. Like if I was like snipping film and like editing it with the way they used to do that, I don't think I'd be doing it because the technology has just made it so much more readily available and the quality is crazy. So it's like gimbals weren't a thing when I got out of school. Right. Drones weren't a thing. Now you got 4K drones, gimbals. You got the GoPros are crazy now. Like especially like the GoPro Max, the 360 camera. Like they get everything, and you can like literally go in after and pick where you want the camera to look. So it's probably, I would say it's easier to be a filmmaker now than it ever has been, or a content creator. It's just, refining your craft and figuring out ways to like find your style. Like me and Heber have a style, but that took a long time to find that. That's probably the hardest part is like having your videos and photos and everything that you do look like your brand and look like it's coming from the Buttery Bros, and you can like almost instantly recognize that stuff. That's what takes the most amount of time, I'd say.
Yeah, the stuff from this weekend, the surfing on top of the world was freaking nuts.
Yeah.
I'm watching that. I'm like, how the hell did they do that? I mean, but it was like in your style, and I'm like, it was awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
At this point, would you, because obviously your brand is, the trajectory is, it's going. You can see exactly where it's going. But let's say, like in many other situations, a network comes to you, reality show comes to you and says, hey, we love where this is headed. We love the brand. We sort of want to help with that. Is that something you'd consider, or are you guys so focused on getting this to where you want it to be on your own that you would say, you know what, we're good?
I would say that's something we would consider, and that's something we have considered, and just since COVID and lockdown, and it's kind of put a wrench in that. But I would be willing to hear anybody out that was willing to support us, that wanted to build us up, and then like maybe we get on a network or we get a show or something, and then we can just do a little bit more refined edits on YouTube and stuff like that, or Patreon or whatever it is. But I'm just always open to new ideas and fresh takes on what we can be doing.
Stemming from that, and to kind of wrap up the interview here, what is next for the Buttery Bros? What do you guys have in the pipeline? What do you want to be doing in the next 4 months, pending whatever happens, with the world?
I would say that there's a lot that's on the table, and it's hard to say because of what's happening in the world. If it was up to us, we would be producing a couple more documentaries over the next year or two. And we would be taking our show to new places that it hasn't been before, and just figuring out how to get more eyeballs on it, not just to give it more exposure. Like we really believe in the show. We think it inspires people to want to be better and to live a happier life, and finding new avenues and ways to distribute that content is always interesting and fascinating and a learning experience for me.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. You know, this was super helpful for us, and I know super helpful for a lot of content creators out there that are trying to figure out how to turn what they do best into a business. This show is all about, you know, life and business, and thank you both for sharing a little bit about your life and a little bit about your business. Wish you the most success and look forward to the upcoming shows, whether we're in COVID or whether we're not. Either way. You guys are awesome.
Appreciate you guys
Sounds
so
good.
much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us on the show.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Take care.
Take care.
Yeah. Later.
As always, we are super appreciative to everyone out there that tunes in, watches us on Facebook and YouTube, listens on our podcast. We're growing this rocket ship from nothing, so thank you so much. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you love consuming your content. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, cheers everyone to life, love, lots of laughter, and business.
Yes.
May you prosper in all of those areas.